Hey guys, want to share a little bit about sleep paralysis and why I think it continues. So, this is just what I think, this is what I've learned, this is what I've observed. Forgive the noise in the background. Um, okay, so for those who don't know what sleep paralysis is, it's simply that you're asleep and you feel paralyzed. But there's some talk where it is just a physical response. It's just a medical thing. It's just a thing. But many do know that it's a spiritual aspect. It's something that's happening in the spiritual realm as well. So this is what I found accompanies sleep paralysis. Not all the time. You don't get all of them. You might not get any. But these are a few things I've found that accompany sleep paralysis. So you do feel restrained. Your limbs, your chest, the pressure, your neck. The sexual assault. Some people wake up with scratches and bruises. Then you have the shadow people. The shadow people can be either a spiritual thing or a physical thing. Shadow people is just like a dark, shadowy image, but it can be, the spiritual elements are usually demons. I'm gonna try to get through this video without sounding too crazy. So you have the demons, the old hag, the man in the hat, Asmodeus, incubus, succubus. Those are the ones that I've come to know. Not personally, there's just that I've learned about some. Anyways, then you have the shadow people, which are actual physical people that astral project, whether they're amateur or witches or warlocks. Again, those are just some that I've come to learn about or understand. And then the sleep paralysis can be accompanied by a noise, and some people say it's static. There's various noises, but it's just in your brain, and it's beyond irritating. So there are dreams, demonic dreams, terrifying dreams, or false awakenings. It's when you wake up from a dream, but yet you're still in a dream. The shaking of your body, the shaking of your bed. Then there's the laughing. That's produced by the person who is in sleep paralysis, and also out-of-body experiences where you're being pulled out of your body. And the one thing that most people acknowledge is crying out to Jesus that breaks it. Sorry, there's a lot of noise going on. And so there are ways that you can minimize. I've come to understand it as minimize the sleep paralysis, but this mean protect you. The anointing of your bed, the doors, the windows. We've put Bible verses on the doors and the windows before. Pray over the whole house. Pray the angels, because they are ministering agents that come for those who receive salvation. Pray for the armor of God found in Ephesians. But even after all that, it still happens. Kevin L.A. Ewing is a teacher on YouTube, on Facebook. He has a blog space on the internet. You're welcome to look him up, Kevin L.A. Ewing. He mentioned the tares in Matthew 13. So I'm going to read that. Matthew 13, starting at 24. Yeshua put before them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a man who sowed good seed in his field. But while people were sleeping, his enemy came and sowed weeds among the wheat, then went away. When the wheat sprouted and formed heads of grain, the weeds also appeared. The owner's servant came to him and said, "Sir, didn't you sow good seed in your field? Where have the weeds come from?" And he said, "An enemy has done this." The servant asked him, "Then what do you want us to do? To go and pull them up?" And he said, "No, because if you pull up the weeds, you might uproot some of the wheat at the same time. Let them both grow together until the harvest. And harvest time I will tell the reapers to collect the weeds first, tie them in bundles to be burned, but go gather the wheat into the barn." Yeshua put to them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed, which a man takes and sows in his field. It is the smallest of all seeds, but when it grows up, it's larger than all the garden plants and becomes a tree, so that the birds fly and come and nest in its branches. Okay, so Kevin L.A. Ewing talks about the enemy, when we're asleep, comes and plants these weeds. Even though we are planting the good seeds, and we are praying that God help grow these good seeds, the enemy still comes in. And so there are a lot of believers that are like, no, we're saved, bought, paid, blood of Jesus, everything's great. And it is, but we are still going to have the enemy attack. Let's see. The enemy still comes after believers. You can look at the prophets and the disciples. Paul, I don't know if I wrote it down. Paul talks, 2 Corinthians, I don't know what chapter, where he's beaten, he's stoned, he's beaten with stones, and then shipwrecked, left to die so many times. And he's one of the great believers. So to say that we are protected from any harm or taunts of the enemy, like, that's not 100% biblical. You have Ephesians, Psalms, and Proverbs constantly talking about the enemy coming and talking about traps and snares and the spiritual warfare just in general. Then you have John 10 and Genesis 4 that talks about the enemy waiting and crouching at the door, waiting to come in. And you do have where you do allow the enemy in and you do come into agreement with the enemy, but then there's times when the enemy comes in illegally. John 10 talks about that. So a little bit of my experience. Last week I did have sleep paralysis, and I did share with a few friends and like, have you experienced this like this? And I got a lot of pray for protection answers, and that's fine. I will continue to do that. But I'm waiting for someone who has experienced this and can share their stories. And I got someone that kind of shared a story, but I didn't really feel like I got the help that I was looking for. So that's why I'm making this video. I'm sharing a little bit of my experience to encourage you, and so that you don't continue feeling discouraged, because I felt a lot of that discouragement. Like, what am I doing wrong? Why is this happening to me? What is in my life? What is in my house? What is in my room? But then I remember that we are our target. We do let the enemy in, and we welcome it in with whatever we bring in our house. But at the same time, our righteousness, our seeking right with God, creates that target for the enemy. So I had the sleep paralysis moment. I talked to some friends and tried to figure out how to break this, how to escape it. And so that the next night I went to bed. I have 2 blankets that I made. I made one that's Psalms 23, the Good Shepherd. I think that's the Good Shepherd one. Good Shepherd inspired. So it has these little sheeps and all these little patchworks that I liked. So it's my blanket. And then I made a blanket for my husband that has the name of God in it. So I'm sleeping in those, with those. And I'm also sleeping my head covered, because in a dream, when I was being rescued from the sleep paralysis, I had my head covered. So I go to sleep in these blankets with the head covering, with all these prayers, with these like detailed like armor of God, instead of just like I pray for the armor of God. Like, we went over the helmet of salvation and the breastplate and the belt. Just, I tried to cover every single element of anything, and just every little trinket of faith and prayer and anointing that I can hang on to. I tried to grasp and put into sleep in that. And then I had instantly the sleep paralysis. This time it was a dream. I'm lying on a sofa and everything's kind of gray. And then there was people there, and I was speaking. I don't know what I was saying. I think I was praising God. I'm saying words. And there's these people there saying that they're going to show me things. And there's a portal, you know, in the movies, how the edges get soft and it kind of whirls like a cloud or whatever. And so there's a portal so you can see something in there. And so this portal, the swirl was open, and it's gray. And inside there was like images, like dark shadows walking by. And I'm still, I believe I'm saying praises, but I'm waiting. I'm like, am I going to see Jesus? Am I going to see God? I hear about people having those dreams, and I'm thinking that's what's going to happen. I feel like this is a window open to heaven, and I'm curious. I'm like, is this what's going on? What's going on? But I couldn't, nothing would make out. It was just dark images walking by within that portal. And so I'm getting frustrated, and whoever these things are getting frustrated, until I feel my body like being brought out. And I'm in another room, kind of like on an examination table, but not really. I don't want it to sound too eerie, but I feel like I'm on an examination table sitting there, and I'm still speaking, and I'm waiting there. I feel like I'm about to be gifted some spiritual inheritance. There's a gift that's going to be given to me, and I'm sitting there like waiting, kind of at the doctor's office, waiting for this prescription or whatever. I don't want to speak too much in it, but I'm waiting, like my turn, like someone's going to come in, and this something's going to happen, and I'm waiting. But then I'm restrained. My ankles are restrained. My hands, I feel like people are holding, I have both my hands crossed on my chest. My legs are crossed at the ankles, and they're being restrained. And at that time, in real life, my husband comes into the room, and I know he's there, and I'm kind of waking up, but I can't. Sleep paralysis. And I'm trying to say Yeshua, which is Jesus' name in Hebrew, which means God saves. So I'm trying to say it, and all I can do is get these breaths out. I'm just, and I know that my physical body is doing it sometimes, the heavy breathing, and I'm hoping my husband can hear it. He can come and wake me and pull me out, pray for me. So I'm in and out of this dream state, and I can't break it. And it won't, the sleep paralysis, if you've experienced it, it covers your mouth and your eyes, and it won't let you cry out. So I am fighting that. I'm trying to say Yeshua, but all I have is breath. And I hear my husband, and I feel like I see him walking to this corner where he has his clothes, and he's changing for bed. And finally I can speak out Yeshua, just that one time. I say it out loud, and I'm awake. I'm out. I'm broken. Not unbroken, but the sleep paralysis is broken. And my husband's like, "Are you okay? You know, you just said Yeshua, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I just broke sleep paralysis." And he's like, "Are you okay?" Like, oh, hold on, I can't. I'm still trying to break the sensation, because my legs are still crossed at the ankle. My hands are still crossed at my chest. And I still feel that tension. I'm still trying to, so my husband massages out my legs, and he's praying over me. And I'm ticked, because I did all these things. The blankets, the anointing, the praying, the head covering, the everything. I thought I was covered and protected. Why would this still happen? So I'm frustrated. And of course I wouldn't be frustrated with my friends. Like, you said, all I had to do was this. Or, like, where's everyone? Where's everyone's experience to help me figure out what is going on and make it stop? And then I just remember Kevin L.A. Ewing talking about it, the tares or the weeds. It depends on your translation. Some say tares, T-A-R-E-S. I'm like, okay, this is just what life is as a believer. The enemy wants to kill, steal, and destroy. I'm not accepting it for my life. I'm not just going to go to bed. Okay, here's another night. See you guys in a minute. that's not what this is. But I wanted to share my story, because I don't know if you are equally or were equally discouraged and ashamed and blaming yourself, or thinking you did something wrong. Again, we bring stuff in our life and we accept stuff in our life and come to agreement with stuff in our life that does have different manifestations and do demonstrate itself in certain ways. But if you are persecuted, you have a Bible full of other people and a world full of other people, clouds of witnesses that are going through something very similar, and it's not always what you did, it's just who he is. So I hope, as crazy as my story sounds, that it's encouraging or it's helpful. Maybe it'll help you understand a friend and what they're going through, family member. I remember when I started experiencing it, I didn't know why, and I felt like it was so that I could help understand with other people and share with other people. And since then, maybe 5 years ago when I started experiencing it, I've met many people that have gone through it, and I've been able to say, yeah, I know what that's like, and it's a relief for them. It's a relief for me sometimes. So thank you guys for letting me share. Bye.